Dear students, good day. Let us start our session with History, Unit 3, Rural Life and Society. In this session, we are going to learn about the land revenue policy under the British rule, the merits and demerits of the land revenue policy. Introduction. Agriculture was a primary occupation of the people, and even industries like textiles, sugar, oil, etc. were dependent on it. The British government in India did not adopt a pro-Indian agriculture and land revenue policy. British government introduced three major land revenue systems in India. Types of land revenue policy under British. Permanent settlement, which was introduced by Lord Cornwallis. Rayatwari system, which was introduced by Thomas Munro. And Mahalwari system, which was introduced by William Bentinck. Permanent settlement. When Robert Clive obtained the Diwani of Bengal, Bihar and Orissa in 1765, there used to be an annual settlement of land revenue. Warren Hastings changed it from annual to 5-yearly and back to annual again. During the time of Cornwallis, a 10 years settlement was introduced in 1793 and it was known as permanent settlement. It covered 19% of total area in British India, which included Bengal, Bihar, Orissa and northern Karnataka. It was known by different names like Jamindari, Jahirdari, Malgujari and Bishwetari. Features. The Jamindars were recognized as the owners of land as long they paid the revenue to the East India Company regularly. The Jamindars acted as the agent of the government for the collection of revenue from the cultivators. The amount of revenue that the Jamindars had to pay to the company was strongly fixed and would not be raised under any circumstance. The Jamindars would grant patta, that is written agreements, to the farmers. All judicial powers were taken away from the Jamindars. Merits. Under this system, many of the wastelands and forests became cultivatable lands. The Jamindars became the owner of the land. The Jamindars were made free from the responsibility of providing justice. The Jamindars remained faithful to the British government. This system secured a fixed and stable income for the British government. Demerits. The British government had no direct contact with the cultivators. The rights of the cultivators were ignored and they were left at the mercy of the Jamindars. The farmers were almost treated as serfs, which means slaves. This system was made the Jamindars lethargic and expensive. Many conflicts between the Jamindars and the farmers arose in rural Bengal. Rayatwari system. Major areas of introduction of this system included Madras, Bombay and parts of Assam. By this system, the rights of ownership was handed over to the farmers. British government collected taxes directly from the farmers. Initially, one half of the estimated produce was fixed as rent. This assessment was reduced to 1/3 of the produce by Thomas Munro. The revenue was based on the basis of the soil and the nature of the crop. Rents would be periodically revised gradually after 20 to 30 years. Features. Revenue settlement was done directly with the farmers. Measurement of field and an estimate of produce was calculated. Government fixed the demand at 45 to 55% of the produce. Effects. In most areas, the land revenue fixed was excessive. Under this system, the government used the farmers instead of Jamindars. Mahalwari system. Assessment of revenue was to be made on the basis of the produce of a mahal or village. In this system, the village as a whole, through its headman or lambardar, was required to pay the revenue. This system was first adopted in Agra and Awadh. Finally, the burden of all this heavy taxation fell on the cultivators. Features: the Lambardar acted as intermediaries between the government and the villages. It was a village-wise assessment. One person could hold a number of villages. The village community was the owner of the village common land. The village land belonged to the village community. Effects: the Lambardar enjoyed special rights which was misused for their self-interest. This system brought no benefit to the cultivators. It was a modified version of the Jamindari system and benefited the upper class in villages. Impact of British land revenue system on the cultivators. It resulted in increasing land sales. The farmers were overburdened with taxation. The people suffered in poverty and burdened with debts. The Jamindars, moneylenders, and lawyers used the poor farmers. Cottage industries disappeared. Finally, the British policy proved advantageous only to the British government. Peasants' revolts. The British rule in India brought about many changes in the agrarian system in the country. The Jamindars tried to extract as much as they could from the cultivators of land. The life of the farmers was extremely miserable. The various peasant movements and uprising during 19th and 20th centuries were in the nature of a protest against of the existing conditions arises. The Santhal Rebellion. The first revolt, which can be regarded as peasant revolt, was the Santhal Rebellion in 1855 to 56. The land near the hills of Rajmahal in Bihar was cultivated by the Santhals. The landlords and moneylenders from the cities took advantage of their ignorance and started grabbing their lands. This created bitter resentment among them, leading to their armed uprising in 1855. Consequently, under the belief of the divine order, around 10,000 Santhals gathered under two Santhal brothers, Sittu and Kannu, to free their country and set up a government of their own. As a result, the government declared the Parganas inhabited by them as Santhal Parganas so that their lands and identity could be safeguarded. Indigo Revolt. The Bengal indigo cultivators' strike was the most aggressive and widespread peasant uprising. The European indigo planters compelled the tenant farmers to grow indigo at terms highly disadvantageous to the farmers. The tenant farmer was forced to sell it cheap to the planter. Led by Digambar Biswas and Bishnu Charan Biswas, the farmers of Nadia district gave up indigo cultivation in September 1859. Factories were burned down and the revolt spread. To take control of the situation, the government set up an indigo commission in 1860 whose recommendations formed part of the Act 6 of 1862. The indigo planters of Bengal, however, moved on to settle in Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. Papna Revolt. Papna peasant uprising was a resistance movement by the peasants against the oppression of the Jamindars. The Jamindars routinely collected money from the peasants by the illegal means. Peasants were often sent out from their land in case of non-payment of tax. Led by Keshav Chandra Rai, large crowds of peasants gathered and marched through villages, frightening the Jamindars. The struggle gradually spread throughout the Papna and then to the other districts of East Bengal. The main form of struggle was that of legal resistance. In the course of movement, the farmers developed a strong awareness of the law and their legal rights. Deccan riots. In 1875, the peasants revolted in the district of Pune That event has been called the Deccan Riots. The peasants revolted primarily against the oppression of the local moneylenders who were grabbing their lands systematically. Gradually, the uprising spread over 33 villages. As a result, Deccan Agriculturist Relief Act was passed, in which most of the serious resentment of the peasants were removed. Punjab Peasant Movement. The ownership of the farmers' land was transformed fastly to the urban moneylenders for the failure to pay debts. The peasants of the Punjab started to oppose these activities of the moneylenders. As a result, Punjab Land Alienation Act was passed in 1900. Champaran Satyagraha. The European planters of Champaran in Bihar resorted to illegal and inhuman methods of indigo cultivation. The farmers were opposed by the planters. The Mahatma Gandhi took up their cause. Finally, the government appointed an inquiry commission and the Champaran Agrarian Act was passed in May 1918. Kheda Satyagraha. In the Kheda district of Gujarat, due to constant famines, agriculture failed in 1918, but the officers insisted on collection of full land revenue. The local farmers therefore started a no tax movement. Gandhiji accepted the leadership of this movement. As a result, the government accepted the settlement with the peasants. Mapla Rebellion. Mapla peasants was suppressed and used by Jamindars and British government. So the Mapla tenants revolted against the Jamindars. In the initial phase of the revolt, the Mapla peasants attacked the police stations, public office, communications, and houses of oppressive landlords and moneylenders. As a result, the government suppressed the Mapla rebellion. Bardoli Satyagraha. The government raised the land revenue by 30%. Under the leadership of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, the peasants of Bardoli protested against the government proposal and refused to pay taxes at such high rates. As a result, the lands were returned to them when the Congress came to power in 1937. In this session, we learnt about the land revenue policy under the British rule, the merits and demerits of the land revenue policy. Thank you.